welcome to another episode of Venus Day Q&A. I'm so glad to see your beautiful face. You got questions, I got answers. It's your host with the most, Mr. Meyer, with the fire, here to take the collective vibration higher. We're concentrating on love. We're consecrating the joint to bring peace and release. So mote it be. Hope you guys are having a blessed day. This is episode 6, Venus Day Q&A. So we have a short astrology breakdown, and then we're gonna jump into the questions asked by viewers just like you. So I'm glad we got to kick it today. If you want to be featured in the next episode of the Venus Day Q&A, click the link in the bio and leave your questions in the Ask Mark channel of the Discord server. And let's rock and roll. Today is a beautiful Taurus day. This is our chart. Can we focus? Hocus pocus. Sun is at 7 degrees of Taurus. We got the moon at about 13 degrees of Sagittarius. That should give it you guys a good, because you see the glare or the reflection. How about that one? Yeah. That's for all my chart readers out there, man. You can take a look at it. It's a beautiful Friday. The moon is in Sag. Sun is in Taurus, moon is in Sag. And this is a pretty confusing angle, I'm going to be quite honest. So if you're watching this the day of, I hope you feel good. Kind of an unstable energy right now, but we're making the most of it. We've got the moon square Saturn. So for some people, they're realizing their strength. For some people, it's a little bit of a rougher day. So I hope this video puts a smile on your face. This video was made possible by viewers like you. I really encourage y'all to celebrate your life right now. I'm seeing this sun making a hard angle to Lilith. If you're part of my movement, if you found my channel, you resonate with this content, that tells me you have no problem embracing the darkness. So I know it's a kind of more dreary, overcast day as I'm filming this. I hope you guys are having a blessed Venus day. I don't got too much else to say besides Venus is in the sign of Aries right now. And she loves it. Why? Because Venus in Aries talks about self-indulgence. Give me 1 second, y'all. I was thinking about like letting the air in, but I think I'm letting too much sound in. I guess the box is gonna get hot. That must mean 2 things, at least. Venus Day Q&A, and we got Venus transiting Aries at 27 degrees. So we're gonna talk about the goddess. Today is a beautiful day to venerate the women in our lives. Regardless if you are a woman or a man, we all contain masculine and feminine energies. So Venus Day is a good day to focus on embracing your divine feminine, receiving the love that life has to offer, indulging in the pleasures and the beauty and just the art of receiving. So it is an art. And Venus in Aries says, you got yours, man. It's okay to be selfish. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you couldn't take care of anybody else. And that's the bottom line here. It's okay to put you first. Love is about selflessness. Love is about devotion, giving, and connection. But truly, if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. And that's what Venus in Aries tells us time and time again, reminds us over and over again. Venus is going to make a transition this week on April 29th, which is Monday. We're going to see Venus switch into the side of Aries. What? Pardon me. I just put my foot in my mouth. Venus is going to go from Aries to Taurus. Mama's about to be back home. And that looks like good times ahead of us, guys. So I hope you're making the most out of spring. I hope you're enjoying the blessings life has. Take some time to be outside, to breathe the fresh air, to get the sun on your skin, to connect with the earth and the water. Thank yourself. I've been having a good day, guys. So we're going to jump into questions in just a second. If you want an extended breakdown of the astrology, that's what Mars Day with Mark is for. I want to thank my spirit guides for being here every time that I make content. So I'm being told to remind you guys about the beauty of giving while the moon is in Sag today, while we talk about Venus. In order to receive something, you have to give. It's the law of attraction, the law of polarity, and the law of karma all intertwined into one beautiful conversation. For you to receive more, you have to give more. And a lot of people may struggle to accept this because of the assumption that if you give, you're going to have less. And that's not necessarily true. When you give, you can create abundance for everybody. It may take a little creativity, a little trust, but don't think for a second that just because somebody else wins, someone has to lose. That's not true. Creative solutions will create positive change. So that's something to check out. Hope you guys are loving on yourselves, man, like Venus and Aries asked to. Moon is square Saturn, so you got to show up for yourself even when it's hard. That's the message today. Even when it's hard, guys. I didn't want to spar today. I went to kickboxing and I was like, bruh, could I just leave? Can I just go home? Can I just, and I can. I could have. And I seriously considered telling my instructor, I'm good. I'm going to just go stretch. I'm going to just fuck off. I'm going to give up. But then I like thought about that thought. I was like, this thought sounds weak as hell, bro. You're already here. Imagine explaining it to your higher self. Yeah, I just didn't feel like doing it. Like I was already there. I was already ready to do it. I was already primed, but I just decided to retreat. That's not a conversation I'm willing to have with myself. So, you know, even though it was hard, we show up anyway. I considered skipping Venus Day Q&A and saying, fuck it. I could post it next Friday, and that will be number 6, and people would just pick it up that day. But there'd be many kind-hearted people tuned in wondering what the hell happened on Friday, and why didn't we get a video? Here we are, guys. We showing up anyway. So, we're about to jump into the questions, guys. We got about 52 minutes, and we're going to make the most of it. This question comes from Happy Dude McDonough. Oh my goodness. What a joy of a name to read from. If you guys have more questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. But if you want them answered on these videos, like I said, link in the bio, join the Discord, go to the Ask Mark channel, and then you're going to be able to submit questions for the video. This question from Happy says, how do you use progressions or predictive techniques in astrology to identify and work with karmic themes and life lessons as they unfold over time? And that's a really good question. Like, how can you use astrology to prepare for the events that life is going to bring you, essentially, is what you're asking. And it's transit. Transit and progression. You're right, progression and transit. But I really like to look at it like Photoshop. And if you don't know Photoshop, this might be kind of a moot example, but imagine if your chart was at the bottom layer and the transit was like on top, and you're looking at it from the bottom, or from the top to the bottom, and then the progression was sitting on top of the transit chart. So it's like, it's good to look at your progression, this is my point, but ultimately this is affecting the natal chart. So you have to be able to understand the karma in the natal chart, like the natal Saturn, the North Node, Pluto, the aspects. That's vitally important. But then you would go a level deeper and you would start with the transit, with the cycles, and just understand that the planets have new phases, full phases, they have the quarter squares, and you would watch the karmic planets. Saturn's transit, the Saturn return, the Saturn opposition, the Saturn squares. You know, every 7 years you'd be prepared for a karmic lesson because you know that happens in transit. But you'd also watch the cycles with other planets. So if Saturn is transiting in your chart over 28 years, that's the natal Saturn cycle. But you could also look at the transiting Saturn moon natal cycle. Guys, there's so many cycles. I could list about 50 right now. So like, because I'm talking about, you know, let's say, for example, the moon and Saturn have a cycle, because they do. Every 29 days or so, the moon is going to orbit the wheel. And that's going to mean it makes a full connection with Saturn every 30, probably 29, 30 days, because Saturn doesn't move too fast, basically. So that would say that that's one cycle with 2 planets in transit. So you'd have the moon sun cycle, which is a lunar cycle. We'd have the moon Mercury cycle. We'd have the moon Venus, moon Mars, moon Jupiter, Saturn, all the way out as far as our solar system is. But also, you could interpret that as a person, yourself, watching the moon transit your natal placements, and then Saturn transiting your natal placements. So every planetary pair would really have a total of 3 cycles when you apply it to your natal chart. The pair itself, and then the individual pairs. I mean, and then you got to multiply it by the planet. So really, you gotta take your time with it, man. Let your intuition guide you. And I would really start with the fastest moving planets first, and then work your way out to the slower ones. Because you may not need to know every one of the 50 plus cycles. I really don't think you need to, in my personal opinion. But know the big ones, like the major life transits, like the Saturn return, or the Saturn opposition, or the Uranus opposition. And watch the progress chart, because the progressions are going to basically move your natal placements over, and they also will have aspects and cycles with the natal chart if you look at it through that same dimension. So every person's life is different. We all have a different evolutionary condition and cycle, so you have to really look at your own map, natal transit progression, in that order. So if that answers your question, you're probably gonna have a shit ton more questions based on the depth of the question you're asking. So hope that helps. Snaps for happy, man. This question comes from Turkey Giblets Underdog, and that's a beautiful name. Meaning, you know, names are spells, so I'm just wondering what compelled me to name you that. You said, "Good morning, Mr. Meyer. Top of the morning to you." You said, "How was Vegas?" Vegas was good. Man, Vegas is a weird energy. I've only been that one time, but that's a weird energy. I knew that there were like vortexes and rivers and metaphysical architecture in that area, but you really feel it, dude. It's a whole different dimension. It was a good time. I was like, damn, I'm ready to get back to my cat. But I loved the wedding. My sister got married. It was a beautiful celebration of life and love. We love to see it. And I had a great time. And you also asked me, do you find it difficult to meet people and not want to break down their natal chart? And abso-fucking-lutely, dude. Turkey, I cannot tell you how hard it is to resist it sometimes, man. Because like when you are an astrologer, even if you're not a practicing astrologer, if you get to the point where you really love it and obsess over it, you get to the point where you're so good it's not relatable. But then you have to, I mean, that's the challenge of a good astrologer, is learning how to translate it into a way that other people can understand you. But yeah, I'm always curious about the natal charts. Even when I do things in my personal life, like listen to music or watch movies, I want to know every person's chart. I want to see it. I feel like I answered this one on a different one. Maybe I forgot to star it. Maybe I'm tripping. Because your next question just feels really familiar. I just love astrology and I'm interested in people. So those things going hand in hand. I always want to know what's up with everybody. But I've kind of taught myself to not throw it around needlessly, or to wait until people engage with me before I throw it out. Because when you do so many readings for so many people, you don't have the energy to engage with people that don't want it. You know, they say don't throw the pearls before swine. I'm so good at astrology, I respect my gift. And you also asked me, Turkey, do you feel comfortable around people that aren't on a path of growth? And yes and no, because when people aren't growing and I'm trying to grow, that energy slows me down, or it makes me kind of feel stagnant. But also, when you're around people that want to grow, it's going to make you uncomfortable because it's going to push you on the growth zone. And that's challenging, but you have to just kind of pick your stress that you want. I want the pain of discipline, because the pain of regret is way more painful. The cost is way more expensive. So simply, if I had to pick one and not give you both answers, I would say no, I don't feel comfortable around people that aren't ready to grow. Because fundamentally, if we have that discussion on that philosophical analysis and you just decide that you don't have to grow, it's like, my values are different than that. I think I have to grow personally. I feel morally obliged. So I just can't, like, it would have to be an agree to disagree, and then I would distance myself from anybody who thinks they don't have to grow. Because that reflects lack of accountability and other things as well. So good questions. And some people are quote unquote set in their ways, and you just got to give them the chance to be them. And just understand that, your growth and their growth might not be the same thing. You might think you know what's best for somebody, but that might not necessarily be true. So that's something to think about when it comes to these circumstances. And this comes from Toolbox Shed Ladder Water Slide Hat. That's a lot of nouns in your name. Toolbox Hat Shed Water Slide Cobra. Just keeps getting crazier. So Toolbox said, "Hi Mark." I think it's Tool Belt. I'm reading it wrong. Sorry for fucking your name up. It's Tool Belt said, "Hi Mark. How do you work on integrating more discipline in your life to do the things you need to do for yourself?" I'm excited for the day when there's like hundreds of questions and I have to like scroll through them and just pick them at random. Because pretty soon you guys aren't even going to be able to recognize or find your questions in the swarm of questions. You won't even know who's sending what. It's crazy. But how do I work on integrating more discipline into your life to do things that you need to do for yourself? Think about your future. That's how you do it. Because it's an attitude thing. Discipline is more like organization than willpower. You're going to expend the energy anyway, so you might as well expend the energy in the direction of success. So it's about long-term gratification as opposed to instant. You got to be able to see that the hard choices are a form of love and respect and sovereignty, and that it's not even a sacrifice, that it's an investment in yourself. And when you see it that way and your perspective is locked in that way, man, you don't even really feel like you have to work on it. It just becomes a little bit more natural and effortless. But of course, when you want to lean into the work, you need to do things that are hard. Legitimately do things that are hard, and that will give you discipline. It's like, for me, dude, I give you an example. It's like waking up early for me. That's one thing and really that's a different thing. That's going to bed on time. But, to make that a priority, or, if you have challenges doing a certain thing, learn how to do it. I feel that way about the gym, about the physical fitness, about fighting. Something difficult that damn near nobody wants to do, get into it and do it. And your body is the temple, so you can never go wrong with physical exercise and disciplining yourself in that way. That's going to really, it takes a conditioned mind to be able to work out. So that's the point, is if you can really prove it to yourself through exercise, you can basically lock it down in any part of life, because in a lot of ways, how you do anything is how you do everything. So you said to do the things that you need to do for yourself. It's just about self-love, self-care, self-respect, self-preservation. seeing it like that, and like kind of adjusting the values to the point where neglecting yourself is not an option, or it's not appealing. No matter how much pleasure you could get in the instant, it just won't resonate with you. It just not, you got to make that choice not appealing for yourself, basically. You're asking the right questions, so I appreciate this. I hope that helps you and somebody else. Yeah, I really hope so. Okay. I'm gonna answer this one because I think everybody's dying to know this one. And this comes from Dr. Oppenheimer. Like that dude, you guys know the one. This might be the one. Dr. Oppenheimer says, "Hey Mark, what are your thoughts on Ophiuchus in the Zodiac? I ask because I would be one if it's legit, but then the dates of all the other Zodiac signs would be off." And yeah, you're not wrong, because essentially Ophiuchus would make a 13 sign Zodiac. We'd have the original 12 plus a whole another one. And if you look at the ecliptic, it touches Ophiuchus. It touches all 13 signs. So that's important. And if I'm not mistaken, the ecliptic actually touches a couple other signs as well. So the zodiac belt, or the ecliptic belt, whatever, or orbital plane of the earth, whatever you want to call it, it'll touch a whole lot of constellations. But the tropical zodiac we use, I kind of want to call that like a stencil. That's the first word that came to my mind. So Ophiuchus is legit. You can go outside and point your finger at it and be like, "What up, dude?" And he'd be like, "Ah, snake. There's a snake in my hands." And you could be one if you want. And really, there's a million ways to make an astrology. Like astrology was a noun. You could make your own astrology. It is a noun, isn't it? Yeah. You could draw your circle any which way. Because you gotta think about it. The circle is the flat plane, but you're analyzing the tilt at that point and the rotation. And there's so many ways to do it. You don't even need to pick the zodiac belt, but it just would make less sense when you kind of like get off the pole of the sun. But eventually tropical astrology will need to be adjusted at some point. And I'm moving that for myself. There was a notification. Eventually it's going to have to be adjusted on some level, because the precession of the equinox, precessional slippage, the difference between tropical and Vedic, the sidereal astrology. And Ophiuchus is even a different thing, truly, because sidereal astrologers, I mean, some of them, but I should say like Vedic astrologers don't even use Ophiuchus, but the sidereal astrologers would use Ophiuchus, because at the point of being able to include that space into the zodiac, at that point, why wouldn't you just account for precession as well? Like modern astrology, tropical astrology, I should say, is legitimate. It's amazing. It's psychological in depth, and it even has great mathematical basis. But if you want to go for more true and accurate astrology, you probably should make a form that includes Ophiuchus and the other damn signs. I think it's Cetus, and maybe, don't quote me on that, but you know, like I said, you could use your eyes, and the idea with this is we try to be scientific. So I don't know if that answers your question, because I feel like this is a deeper discussion in itself. But yeah, Ophiuchus is real objectively, but also the structure and tradition of the 12 sign zodiac is so useful, and the utility is just so high, and it's so vast. We still haven't mastered it as people. So I just think that while it might not be necessary in our lifetimes to investigate Ophiuchus and move the signs around, I feel like there is going to need to be some renaissance, some revision. That's what I'm feeling. And we'll get there in divine time. It's a collective process that's ongoing. But yeah, the dates would adjust then, exactly. They definitely would. That's how it would work. Precessional slippage. Yep. And that just means basically is that like when the equinoxes happen, spring and fall, over time, slowly over time, it happens a little bit further and further away. Or like it happens, like the solar system is moving. And that's what we can see with the precession of the equinoxes. So by contrast, the whole zodiac kind of moves around as far as like when we are aligned with the sun in that cycle. Precession of the equinoxes. So good conversation. I hope that helps. Thanks for your question. Mr. Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer has another question. Hey Mark, I got another question. Are your spirit guides living people or people who have passed on? Both. I had to really think about it for a second, because the latter one, of course. But both. I got good teachers. I got good leaders. And I have a lot of spirit guides. So yeah, absolutely. And I think that applies for a lot of people. I can't be certain, but I believe that happens for a lot of people, where you probably have mentors and people that inspire you and you look up to physically, but also when you connect with spirit, that begs the question, what the hell is going on? And who are you really talking to? Okay, I got 2 questions, and I'm gonna open up the IG. First one is about my favorite tarot spread. And this comes from El Jefe. El Jefe says, what's my favorite tarot spread and tarot deck? And this sounds, I don't know how this sounds to people, but my favorite tarot deck, if I really had to pick one, would be the original Venus deck Q&A number 6. Boom. I got it going. Just making sure it works. Bet. Yeah, this is crazy. Dude, I'm on live again while I'm doing this. I'm getting the questions going. All right, the tarot deck and spread. First one, tarot deck, the original Rider-Waite-Smith. That's the yellow box. I can't tell you guys how many times I've bought that tarot deck. That deck is bananas, man. And the colors are so simple. You can get a universal version, which is really more detailed. But I'm telling you guys, I have literally given that deck away so many times. And I've lost it so many times, had to rebuy it for myself. Just crazy. And then you said what kind of spread do I like to rock with? I like to rock with either a 1 card or a 3 card pull. And I'm seeing questions in the chat. I'm about to get to these after like one more. I appreciate you guys. I like to do a 1 card pull just to see the immediate energy. Or I like to do a 3 card pull, and that's like past, present, future. And you can go level after level, and like you can do a 3 and easily turn that into a 6 or a 9 or a 12. And I mean, really a 1 could become a 2, could become a 3. Can't see you, it's all dark. Yeah, I figured it would be. Guys, I'm on YouTube right now. No, it's not just you. Yeah, so you guys are gonna be in my video. It's gonna be good. And then this other question said, what is a yod? What the hell is a yod? And how do I get one? And if you don't have one, you know, you're gonna have to wait your turn, basically. Not everybody has a yod. But a yod has another name, and that's the finger of God, the finger of fate. And it's an intense aspect in your chart. What it literally is 3 planets that are gonna be in sextile and in conjunction. So it looks like a really skinny triangle, basically, where the 2 sextile planets are gonna be the base, but then the two in conjunct planets are going to form an apex. So if you guys are seeing on my screen, that's kind of the shape. And the point is that it's gonna funnel energy towards the tip of that triangle. And in conjunctions fucking suck, but they're also great for a multitude of reasons. The elements are different, the modes are different, the duplicity's different. So the blending of these energies may be kind of difficult, but the gifts will be profound when you lean into it. It may reflect something heavy about your purpose. You really have to look at the planets that are in the Yod, and then the rulership of the planets, and then the transit of the chart. Because one thing about Yods is that they're going to be activated by the transits. So that's something to think about. That's one thing you need to know about your Yod. So I'm going to get to these questions on IG now. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for asking these questions. So Kate asked, and if you guys want me to make up a name for you, let me know in the comments before you put your thing. Because I've been doing that for these people. I've been making up names. But Kate asked, what do you think about Capricorn stelliums? And I think those people go hard. I think they take their life really serious. They have a very objective way of looking at life. They're no nonsense, they're no bullshit. But they have tremendous potential and they really call for success. You gotta look at Saturn. In my experience of reading charts, a lot of people with the Capricorn stellium do have Saturn in Capricorn. Or they might just have those outer planets there. But I've seen people with 8 fucking planets in Capricorn. When it comes to the biggest stelliums, it's always fucking Capricorn. I don't know why this is that way, but that's one thing I've noticed, and I think about it is I hardly see a stellium that big in any other sign besides Capricorn. That thing is fucking huge. They always take all the damn planets. And I also want to say Capricorn stellium speaks to me about tremendous magical potential. You'd be blessed with a lot of that. So those people might be depression prone too. So Saturn ruled. So just positivity, being happy, that may be a more consistent difficulty or theme in their life. Not necessarily, depending on how the sun works, but Capricorn goes hard. That's what I said at first, So I hope that gives you some insight. This question comes from Isabella. Did experiencing trauma improve your spiritual ability to think? And I would say I think so. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So, yeah. You got to take it and try to be optimistic with it. Sometimes trauma really does affect you in a negative way, and you may need just time and grace to get back into a better place. And I really feel like that's a deeper conversation, about your beliefs and assumptions about reality. Because for some people, trauma really does enrich them. But for some people, trauma really fucks their life up and makes it 1,000,000 times worse. And they may just loop that shit forever. Choose to become worse because of it. Really, the difference between those two people is the conversation they have with themselves. Truly. Nah, guys, I'm literally my phone is down. I keep getting I'm gonna actually move it. Maybe so people can see that they're on video. I just want to make sure that I can see the screen. I'm trying to read the screen. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it black, guys. Just know that you're on my YouTube video. It's Venus Day Q&A number 6. And I was thinking I wanted to do this on YouTube Live, and next time I might just do that. So I don't even have to upload the video. It would just go instantly to posted. No, it's not your phone. It's just the way my phone is. Yeah. So I hope hope that answers the question. I know it does answer the question, but me personally, it did help me think. But that's because I deeply believe in life, and I won't allow circumstances to debilitate me. That's my decision. I've been that type of person early on for a long time. I've spent years of my life, truly, years of my life being so negative and kind of wishing negative things upon myself. And it's exhausting and terrible, terrifying, and just exhausting. I want to say that again. That's the worst part of it. So it's great to take care of yourself and just know that no matter what happens to you, now take care of yourself on a mental level. Like, you're going to be fine and better. You'll come out ahead from everything you go through. That's one thing I deeply believe about life, and it served me well. So I'm going to keep believing it. I'm going to keep believing it. This one, this one's cool. This one says, same question as Kate. So let me get what do I think about? People want to hear my thoughts. I love it. What do I think about a Gemini stellium? I've met a few, actually. I've met a few Gemini stelliums, man. And a lot of these people never shut the fuck up. It's crazy. And that can be a multitude of other placements, but like the first Gemini stellium that I know of that came to my mind, this motherfucker told the best stories, was I don't want to say great conversationalist because you got to listen, but great talker, great communicator on some level. But this would tell me that if you got a Gemini stellium, like on a more neutral level, your mind operates very fast. And that's just one thing about you. And depending on the planets in the stellium, you know, your desire to connect, which is really what Gemini is, to interact and connect on a mental level, that's going to be used in different ways. Like if you're a Gemini sun, you're going to just kind of have a sense of identity. I don't want to say kind of. You'll have a sense of identity, an ego, a personality that's Gemini. You'll just like doing Gemini things. But if it's Venus, that means, you know, it'll be more loving and sensual and more, you'll have more of a magnetic pull towards that type of energy. And if it was Saturn, you'd have a fear of that type of energy. And, you know, shit like that. So I would just say if you got a Gemini stellium, that tells me that you're infinitely complex and you're just multifaceted, and you probably think so damn much that you might stress yourself out every now and then. Because it feels like an exalted Mercury energy. And it says you may live in your head, kind of hard to be in your body sometimes. So it also really depends on where Mercury is. Because sometimes you can have a Gemini stellium without having your Sun and Mercury in Gemini. So I want to say, that should have said that first. But really, when you have a Gemini stellium, the first thing you need to check out is what the hell is Mercury doing? Because that's going to tell the whole story about the stellium, really. So yeah, rulership is what that's called. Yeah, Mercury. If you want to answer or ask questions in the chat, I am going to answer them, and then the response will be posted on YouTube as well. Say this one may be cut short if nobody wants to ask questions. I may have to start doing these on YouTube. I'm thinking about just evolving, and that would be the best way to do it, because then I wouldn't have to do any funneling. It would be on the platform I'm trying to post it on. Next time, we're going to be better. We're always striving for better, guys. Evan asked, do I have potential? I feel like I need to ask you what you mean. Everybody has potential, truly. Yeah. So your answer is yes. Everybody has potential. My question is potential to do what? Potential to me feels like energy, and if there's no direction for it, it just is what it is. Everybody can grow, everybody can get better. So yeah, 100%. Use that inspiration for good. Smiley asked, how was my day? My day was really good. This was a beautiful day, guys. I woke up. You ever watch The Office? He said, never start your story saying you woke up. But I did that shit, and I got my energy right, did some Reiki, prayed a little bit, fed my cat, stretched. I got on TikTok live. I did some readings. I worked out. I ate food. I worked out. I sparred. Did kickboxing. I was having a good time. I got home. I changed. I showered. I changed. I got myself ready for Venus Day Q&A. It's been a good day. So I appreciate you asking. I hope you had a good day too. I think we're going to do a couple more. I'm probably going to end this one at like 44 minutes. That feels like a good sweet spot. So I'm going to end this one pretty soon. I may go a little over, but I think like if I could end it on 44 exactly, that would be so cool. This one is from Alexis. She says, hey Mark, hope all is well tonight. And any advice on what crystals help healing muscles and injuries? The first one that comes to my mind is clear quartz. Truly, it's the master healer. I mean, healer quartz is a good one, but the clear quartz can't be slept on. Just putting that on the hurt muscle, that can really help it regenerate faster. Clear quartz. Really any crystal, because they're cold, you're gonna get decompression. You could use any crystal, truly, to heal an injury. Oh, you pulled your shoulder, you hate taking meds. That's crazy. Yeah, and just breath work and using the power of your mind to send energy through that shoulder. Give it rest, give it ice. But heavy on the rest too, by the way. And I don't know how injured it is, but it's like movement is really the key. It's a balance of movement and stability that's gonna really bring your shoulder back to full health. You may not want to move it too much, give it rest right now, but eventually when you can expand your range of motion without pain, that's kind of how you regain strength, basically. But go for the clear quartz. And just be easy on yourself. Listen to your body. Clear quartz is the one. This one comes from Venus herself. Oh my goodness. 1212. You know how Venus loves the 12th house. And she says, what led you to writing simplified astrology? And I would say necessity, man. The world needs guidance. I've seen too many people struggling to understand astrology. And then I started feeling like I was receiving a calling. And I really did. So yeah, basically you said like any events that would have transpired to that. I love to learn, and I joined a bunch of Facebook groups to help myself learn. And I pick up things fast when I'm really interested in them, when I find them useful. So astrology changed my life, and I just found a huge community. I'm talking thousands of people that want to know astrology, are having a hard time learning, or people that are practicing it and kind of getting bad results from it, and just staying above the surface and not understanding that there's a whole world in it. So I really felt like I found that mix of, this is something the world needs, something that I can do, something that I can enjoy. There's my calling. So I love astrology just for the utility and for the gifts that it brings. So it was crazy because I don't want to say I never intended to write a book, but that wasn't how I saw my life playing out. And it felt like the book wrote itself. It just made a lot of sense. It just felt like people needed it, and it worked. So I feel like that was a home run. I appreciate the question. Big blessings today, my friends. This one is going to be like the last one, because I love you guys' questions. I'm going to try to end it at 4444. Keep seeing angel numbers, 555, 444. Do you believe in their meanings? Not in the meanings that people give them. It's the meaning that your heart does. So listen to your guides. Look alive. Venus Day, number 6. I love you guys with my soul. Blessed be.